What's up, everybody? It's your boy Mike Mack, one of the hosts of the Black Heroes podcast, and I'm back with another solo video. And this time we're going to be talking about the 7 warlords of the sea system introduced in One Piece, and whether or not it was good or whether or not it was bad. So I got this idea from being on the live stream called Gloves Off, hosted by Sensei Le Gloves, where a bunch of people got to get together and talk about anime freely. And definitely check that out. I'll leave that in the description. And be sure to check out Sensei's content because Sensei is a funny ass dude. But bump his stuff. We on the Black Heroes channel, so let's get back into my video and let's talk about the warlords. And to kind of kick this video off, I want to do a brief explanation on what exactly the warlord system is. So let's get it started. The 7 warlords of the sea are 7 pirates that are enlisted by the world government to be able to come to their aid in very big battles such as the Marineford War, and to give them a very good power balance against these big Yonko level groups. This was best seen there, and it also has been shown to give pirates immunity in being able to do whatever they want and not be openly investigated by the Marines, and also to be given bounty freezes to where they can't be hunted, which gives them the opportunity to lay a base of operations down and not have to be on the constant move like normal pirate groups. So let's jump into the first warlord that we were introduced to, and also this is more a topic on the actual system, so we're not really be digging deep into the characters themselves, just their actions and what it caused. And definitely the first character to talk about this is Sir Crocodile. Now if you remember, Crocodile, good old Sandman himself, was using his status as a warlord to be able to hide in the shadows and build up his company Baroque Works, which deal in illegal actions such as illegal business, drug trafficking. I don't really think human trafficking, but I'm pretty sure it was a small bit in there as well. So most definitely it was doing a whole lot of illegal things, but since it was tied to Crocodile, even though it was something that was auspicious, because even the people in Baroque Works didn't know who the boss was. They just knew Crocodile as Mr. Zero, and the only person that knew was good old Miss All Sunday, good old Miss Robin that we all love dearly. So it was something that he used to go and infiltrate Alabasta and to be able to go all the way to the top and to keep King Nefertari under his toe and to be able to get information on Pluton. Now, they never actually said if Crocodile got this information from the government, but it has been shown through other characters like Law that you can actually receive pretty classified information from the government thanks to the warlord system. So from there, it kind of showed the gravitas to what a warlord crew is able to do, because I mean Baroque Works was a huge there's a huge military, and when you got to the top 10 members, they were fairly strong for that time period. So yeah, definitely a great introduction into what a warlord is able to do, and also the damage he's able to wreak on the world, because he almost started a revolution from the shading actions that he dealt with behind the scenes, making King Nefertari do with high taxes, keeping food out from other places, keeping water only in the capital of Alabasta, and just the fact that a lot of people were getting fed up with it to the point that a revolution started and almost led to high casualties in the kingdom, which thankfully didn't happen thanks to the Straw Hats. But even with all this going on, when Smoker comes around in Alabasta and he starts fighting this out, he still has no power to actually stop Crocodile. He can't arrest him, he can't bring him in, and he can't openly investigate what he's doing. So he had to wait for Luffy to be able to beat him, and that kind of unearthed all the things Crocodile was doing, especially showing the fact that he was the mastermind behind everything. Then that led to Smoker being able to arrest him. But still, it was something that showed a whole lot of backlash for what the warlord system can do to a place, and it was a great introduction into it. Now, one of the other benefits of being a warlord, as I said earlier, is being able to stay in one place and not have to worry about constantly moving around to escape the government's clutches. Now that's best shown by Gecko Moria, Boa Hancock, and also Trafalgar Law, our dear boy. Now I kind of want to start off with Moria because, I mean, a lot of people kind of sleep on Moria. Moria was a problem when he was introduced. Let's not forget that. In Thriller Bark, Moria was building up a zombie army so that way he could be able to attack Kaido, even though that definitely would have failed, like, miserably. But at the same time though, with that zombie army that can't be killed, just imagine what that would have been like for the people of Wano if Moria was able to amass this large force and just march his way straight up to Kaido and just be able to wreak havoc on the people of Wano that have nothing to do with this feud between Moria and Kaido. Like, that was something that was very major. But the main point of the Thriller Bark was actually to showcase the power of a Paramecia Warlord. Because Crocodile, while he was a problem, and while he did beat Luffy twice, that was mainly because of the fact that Crocodile is a Logia. And at that point in time, Luffy had no actual countermeasures to deal with the Logia. So, most definitely it was something that was helpful to show what a regular bodied Warlord is able to do and how powerful he's able to be and the type of power needed as a Paramecia to be listed as a Warlord. So that was definitely something cool. I kind of want to jump to Boa, who is using her status as Warlord to be able to stay in Amazon Lily and to not be bothered by the Marines, even though the Kuja Pirates are one of the most famous names and one of the most strongest crews. I mean, sure, it's not a Yonko level crew, but them Amazons ain't nothing to play with, alright? Them the type of bitches that'll check a nigga quick. So, most definitely that was something shown to give immunity to that, and it's something that was nice to just see a best way to just stay ambiguous and not really have any big motives, but it kept peace for her and her people. So it was a great way to show the peaceful side of the Warlord system. Now I kind of want to move into Law, who, I mean, if we're talking about one of the people who best utilized the Warlord system for a short amount of time, I think Law and Blackbeard did it amazingly. So with Law, with his status of Warlord, he was actually given information on Caesar Clown, who works for Don Flamingo, another Warlord, and was able to go to Punk Hazard to be able to get the information on Caesar, infiltrate it, destroy it completely with Caesar and the Smile Factory, and also it gave him information onto certain things that Don Flamingo did that the government scrounged up but couldn't act upon. So from there, we got to see how Law set up a base of operations in Punk Hazard to start off his entire plan on defeating Don Flamingo and eventually killing Kaido. So yeah, great use of that for Law to be able to stay in one place to gather that information and be able to start his own mission. So kudos to there. And speaking of Don Flamingo, let's jump on to him real quick, because Don Flamingo, this dude is pretty much the epitome of what a Warlord is. Because if we remember, Don Flamingo was probably the biggest problem out of the Warlord system, and he was also the linchpin that led into something huge later on. So with his status of Warlord, Don Flamingo was able to comfortably sit in Dressrosa. Also, he was able to run an illegal business ring of weapon smuggling to other countries to continue wars across the world. He was able to do drug trafficking. He's able to set up his Smile Factory on Punk Hazard to where he can continuously pump out these illegal fake devil fruits that, I mean, when you get to Wano, you see what the after effects of that is. And you just saw him do so many things and have his hands in so many things and have an open connection with Kaido. Well, I mean, open for the Marines. I'm pretty sure the Marines knew Don Flamingo was working with Kaido. But aside from the world, you know, he was able to be under this guise of, yes, I'm a pirate, but I'm a warlord, and I get to be a king of this nation, thanks to not only being a warlord, because yes, while he was king of Dressrosa, he was still a notorious pirate. But at the same time, being a warlord gave him the status to be able to be that king and have access to the reverie, have access to the reverie, which then gave him more access to classified information on what other kingdoms want to do and how they want to move. So yeah, Don Flamingo definitely used that system to his best advantage. And the next person I kind of want to talk about is Blackbeard. Now Blackbeard, I have to say, utilized the status of Warlord the quickest, because from capturing Ace and that leading to the Marineford War, Blackbeard was given the ability to be a warlord just so he can actually show up at the war, kill Whitebeard and be able to steal his power. Because if he wasn't a warlord, I mean, if he would have showed up there at Marineford, I mean, his crew would have been attacked. But thankfully, with his warlord status, he was able to hide in the shadows until he got the chance to enact his plan, steal Whitebeard's power, and in a span of like 20 minutes, jump to Yonko status. Let's also remember that his warlord status gave him access to Impel Down, to where he went and broke out highly dangerous criminals from the level 5 area. So that's definitely something that shows the prowess of what a warlord can do and the damage he can wreak in a small amount of time. Because we gotta remember, Blackbeard was probably a warlord for maybe altogether, gotta say maybe a month. So yeah, you pretty sure you got some good information out of that as well. So from there, it kind of moves on into that. And to kind of just show some ambiguous sides to being a warlord, I'd have to say the biggest mysteries with the warlord still is Kuma, good old Kuma the Tyrant, to where he uses warlord status more than likely to keep information away from the Revolutionary Army, and also probably to relay information on the government's doings to the Revolutionary Army. So definitely something that's possible, but we haven't really got the chance to dig deep into that. But it's still something that was kind of cool and a good possibility. We got Mihawk. I mean Mihawk was using his warlord status to pretty much be able to go around, fuck people up for entertainment, and then go back home. Like that's just what he was doing. Like he didn't really care. Like the warlord status, I mean, obviously he was the strongest warlord. He's the strongest swordsman. We saw what he could do at Marineford. I mean, we saw the Stampede movie. He completely obliterated one of Fujitori's meteors. So yeah, definitely something that you don't want to mess with there, and definitely something that just gave him a ease of life. So kind of funny. He used the warlord status just for a hobby. That's kind of funny to me. But yeah, so there's Mihawk, and then the last person is Jinbei. Jinbei pretty much just used the warlord status so that way his crew would be able to protect Fishman Island, and also to keep the government away from Fishman Island once Whitebeard stated that that was his territory as well. So pretty much used it to keep a place safe while he got to kind of roam around and do whatever the government told him to. But we also kind of got to see the consequences of going against the government, because when Jinbei refused to fight in the Marineford War, he was stripped of that status and instantly thrown in Impel Down, where he got to meet Luffy, fight with Luffy. Now he's a part of the crew. Woohoo! So yeah, definitely that. But I kind of want to touch now onto the dark side of the Warlord system and kind of exactly how it destabilized the world so much. And to do that, we got to jump back to my boy Crocodile, because Luffy beating Crocodile was the starting point of everything. I mean, technically Luffy beating Arlong was the starting point of everything, but whatever. But when Luffy beat Crocodile, a warlord, somebody who previously had a 80 million bounty, I believe, that put Luffy at the 100 million mark. That put him on the world stage. That made him somebody to look out for. Which also led to Blackbeard thinking, hey, if I capture this Straw Hat kid, turn him into the government, I can become a warlord, get the status I need, and then move forward with my plans, which then led to the confrontation with Ace, which turned into the Marineford War, which then turned into Law getting the warlord status, and now we're building up to the point to where the warlord system is abolished. So how did this come apart? So the warlord system, when it was spoken to at the most recent reverie, it was pointed out that a lot of kingdoms suffered from this system. Don Flamingo having the immunity he was given, his drug smuggling, his weapon smuggling, his human trafficking, all this stuff was just all types of havoc on different kingdoms in the world government. But yet the Marines couldn't do anything no matter how much people complained about it, because his warlord status gave him immunity. So from that, it was just moving forward to that. Crocodile and his actions, the way that Jinbei refused, I think that was brought up, maybe not, but yeah. Weevil, who, if we remember, I mean, Weevil is somebody that a lot of people forget, but Weevil was completely destroying nations just to get back at, you know, the Whitebeard pirates for not protecting Whitebeard or whatever. So, you know, all these problems that kept coming up from the world, thanks to the Warlord system, eventually led them to say, nope, we're doing away with the Warlord system, and now that's leading to a big battle between the Marines and the Warlords. And I can't lie, I'm going to be a little bit disappointed that this is going to be off screen, but at the same time, just hearing the after effects of what this is going to be, because I mean, right now you have vice captains going after like what, Mihawk, Boa, Buggy, hopefully finally Buggy can be captured, Weevil. I mean, you just have all these big names that are being attacked right now, and definitely going to lead to something huge later on in the story. So overall, the Warlord system, was it a good thing? Was it a bad thing? It was a great thing. It showed the problems in the world government with corruption and bad judgment on their part, trusting pirates. And it's also something that showed a lot of destruction to the world, but it actually has some good moments showing how effective it is to have these strong pirates on your side like it did in Marineford, because I mean, a lot of those guys are fucking up people left and right in Marineford just for funsies. And now it's going to be listed to be probably one of the biggest battles and one of the biggest moments in the One Piece plot, because definitely there's going to be some casualties in this war. Overall, Warlord system, great. I loved how it was done. I love what it does for the plot, and I also love how it's pushing the plot forward. So if you have any disagreements on what I said, or if you feel like I left out some information on Warlords, because I didn't talk about Buggy, but I mean, Buggy was using the Warlord status to just be Buggy, so who kind of cares? I didn't really touch that much into Weevil, although we don't know that much about him yet, so I don't feel like it's much I could have talked upon there. And I did little dips and dabs into what Law and everybody does, but like I said, I wasn't really digging into the characters, just what their actions has done. So I feel like I covered everybody major and what it's done to the world and how it's moving the plot forward. But like I said, post your opinions in the comment section, and if you're going to be down in the comment section, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I mean, we're going to keep content like this coming, and I'm definitely having a whole lot of fun with this content. So yeah, be sure to support us and be sure to leave your opinions so we can continue the dialogue going forward. So that's the end of this video, and I just want to say, surpass your limits and plus ultra.
This shit is too easy. Tell them I have no rivals. When I walk up in the spot, they know they nothing to me, and they gotta beg for their survival.